On this episode of Studio 66, we are featuring Bryce Dicus.
Lit a fire outside of Lawrence just before.
Studio 66 starts now.
Ain't Slept Since Texas. I wrote that with my buddy Brad Hargrove back in 2014. That was my first song I ever got on the radio. My wife now, we were dating at the time, we went down to San Antonio, Texas, and she was going to school for her second degree out in Lawton and would come to Tulsa to see me. I said, hey, I'm not playing, let's go see a band. And she said, no, I ain't slept since Texas, because we had just made that trip. So I wrote it down, and we ended up writing that song about a month later.
Got 400 miles to the city limit sign, chasing those lights in that Nashville sky. I've had this dream all my life. Been driving for 2 days without no rest. This empty feeling sitting deep in my chest. Can't get that girl off my mind. I just hope like a shot of whiskey, it burns down deep inside every single time. And this road I'm on, is it worth being alone? I gotta find a way to fix this, 'cause I ain't slept since Texas. Standing there in the Texas sunset, her pretty blue eyes in that summer sundress. And now I'm all alone, wishing I could turn around and go back home. 'Cause her memory is like a shot of whiskey, it burns down deep inside every single time. And this road I'm on, is it worth being alone? I gotta find a way to fix this, 'cause I ain't slept since Texas. Turn this truck around and come back to you, leaving Tennessee in my rear view. 'Cause her memory is like a shot of whiskey, it burns down deep inside every single time. And this road I'm on, it ain't worth being alone. I gotta find a way to fix this, 'cause I ain't slept since Texas. And leaving her was reckless, 'cause I ain't slept since Texas.
My name is Bryce Dicus. I am typically Texas country, or just they say 90s style country music. Motivation, I'm a big songwriter fan and a big, kind of a big up-and-comer fan. I was always a fan in high school and college, and then when I finally got into music and got the guts to start playing myself, I started getting more motivation to write my own music. This Town was a song I wrote by myself this past summer. I went to high school in Catoosa over here. I always said I was going to get out of town, get out of state, which I did. And then my dad, he did concrete, and I always said I was never doing concrete in my life. So in the chorus it says I'm not working the same job my daddy did. So then also everybody says has the songs about going back to their hometown. So my story in this was getting out of town. That was my inspiration on that one. And hopefully that'll be on my next album next year.
I turned down that D1 offer, first string quarterback, for a little dark-haired beauty who wanted me to stay back. But she ran off with him that next year. How the hell's it been 10 years and I'm still here, working the same damn job my daddy had, wearing myself down. My mind is clear, I'm leaving here. That's it, I'm done, I'm out. Don't know why I stayed when I don't even like this town. I swore that I was leaving the day I turned 18, and that state ring just reminds me of all the things I could have seen. I bet it all on love and lost the game, but these chains are breaking off, 'cause I ain't working the same damn job my daddy had, just wearing myself down. My mind is clear, I'm leaving here. That's it, I'm done, I'm out. Don't know why I stayed when I don't even like this town. Don't know where I'm gonna go, but if I don't leave right now, I'll never know. No more same damn job my daddy had, no more wearing down. My mind is clear, I'm leaving here. That's it, I'm done, I'm out. Don't know why I stayed when I don't even like this town. Why the hell did I stay when I don't even like this town? To hell with this town.
I mean, anything inspires me. My family, stuff at jobs as far as musicians. Red Akins is a big 90s country guy and songwriter. Merle Haggard. Cody Johnson is one. I saw him in concert with 5 people in the crowd, and now he's blowing up the BOK Center, so that's pretty cool seeing guys have come that far. And that's big motivation and inspiration as well. Raising Hell in Heaven. I had a buddy in college that we went to concerts all the time, went to rodeos. He rode bulls. I rode them when we were younger, and he always said, hey, let's go get on a bull, but with my my wrestling scholarship, I couldn't just go take a chance to get injured. So he called me one night and said, hey, I got PBR tickets. I'll come pick you up. Well, I was back home in college, and said, I'll hit you up next time I come to Tulsa. And I got a call the next day that he had died in a car wreck. So that was July of 2010. And last summer, I was at the gym one morning, and I've been trying to, I had the title Raising Hell in Heaven for a long time, and last summer at the gym something hit me, and I wrote that song in about an hour. And then that night I called my buddy Justin, who was with Clay that night before at the rodeo, and then when they split, Clay got in the accident, so I called Justin and said, hey, listen to what I just wrote, and that's where it went. And I actually just recorded that and released it this past year, which was the 10th anniversary of his passing.
That burnt CD of bowling and ragweed brings back memories. We'd blast the radio wherever we'd go, from buckouts to parties. If you ask me how I've been since the night that we lost him, I'm still getting by, and I'm still living my life. Since he passed on that dark July night, and he's still on my mind after all this time. I still get choked up whenever I think of him, but I know he's raising hell in heaven. There's an old bull rope and a can of skull that he left in my truck. Man, a rodeo, he said, let's go and I'll come pick you up. Maybe he'd not have left if I'd have just said yes. But I'm still getting by, and I'm still living my life. Since he passed on that dark July night, and he's still on my mind after all this time. I still get choked up whenever I think of him, but I know he's raising hell in heaven. Next month will be 10 years since we last had a beer together, but I'm still getting by, and I'm still living my life. Since he passed on that dark July night, and he's still on my mind after all this time. I still get choked up whenever I think of him, but I know he's raising hell in heaven. He's raising hell in
heaven. Too Cold in Kansas. I wrote that with my lead guitar player, JT Hubbard, out of Arkansas. We were in Tulsa one night playing downtown with a few guys, and we had to be in Manhattan, Kansas the next day for a show. And I had mentioned that I was going to Kansas, and it was chilly here, and the guy said, screw going to Kansas, it's too cold in Kansas. So I wrote it down, and we wrote it on the way, wrote it the next night on our way up to Kansas.
Lit a fire outside of Lawrence just before the summer's end. Running wild and free, where we both never been. But the flame grew cold when you took off back home. You left me here all alone. It's too cold in Kansas, too hot in Tennessee. All the whiskey I've been pouring ain't doing a thing for me. This road I'm headed is getting awful dark and lonely. It's too cold in Kansas and too late for you and me. short summer fling was a plan we both had set, but that all changed waking next to you in bed. And that summer went just as fast as it came, and I'll never forget the memories we made. It's too cold in Kansas, too hot in Tennessee. All the whiskey I've been pouring ain't doing anything for me. This road I'm headed is getting awful dark and lonely. It's too cold in Kansas and too late for you and me. And I'll go crazy if I hang around. The only thing to do is to leave this town. It's too cold in Kansas, too hot in Tennessee. All the whiskey I've been pouring ain't doing anything for me. This road I'm headed is getting awful dark and lonely. It's too cold in Kansas and too late for you and me. Yeah, you and me.
My last album came out in 2018, and then I did one last year, an acoustic album. So we're in the process of getting another one put out. We've got half of it recorded, hoping to get the rest of it done by the end of this year. I'm recording up with Dave Smith up in Nashville. I'm hoping to get that released sometime next year, hopefully before next summer. Whiskey and Wishes, I wrote with JT as well. We were down in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and at those shows we did, we played one night on a Friday night, and the next day we were just hanging out in the hotel, and we'd had that line and just was hanging out till our show that night, ended up writing that. And then it's been a fan favorite since, and that's another one we plan on trying to put on the next album as well.
Smoke-filled bar and an empty glass, a lonely heart and a broken past. She took off about a year ago. I'm stuck here with nothing to show. Bartender knows just to let me be. We both know there's no hope for me. So now I'm mixing whiskey and wishes, hoping she'd come back again. I should have held on to kisses instead of running round to friends. And it's just about time I lose my mind trying to drown her memory. So now I'm mixing whiskey and wishes, hoping she'd come back to me. Looking back on the plans we made, I turned all her love to hate. I hurt her more than I want to say, and now who's hurt since she went away? The smell of smoke and the neon lights, the reason that she said goodbye. So now I'm mixing whiskey and wishes, hoping she'd come back again. Should have held on to kisses instead of running round with friends. And it's just about time I lose my mind trying to drown her memory. So now I'm mixing whiskey and wishes, hoping she'd come back to me. mixing whiskey and wishes, hoping she'd come back again. I should have held on to kisses instead of running round with friends. And it's just about time I lose my mind trying to drown her memory. So now I'm mixing whiskey and wishes, hoping she'd come back to me. You come back to me.
Great. I mean, I wish I had stuff like this in college, or I wish I'd realized I wanted to do something like this in college. I was an athlete, and it was all focused on wrestling, and so I took a recording class after college, and was, man, I wish I'd have done something like this. That would have been a cool major to do. Oceans in Arizona. There was a deal on Facebook where it was a bunch of Texas artists and songwriters they were covering. They covered Elton John one week. They covered Merle Haggard another week, and they did Garth Brooks. So when they did the Garth Brooks one, I got on a Garth Brooks kick and was listening to a bunch of his music. And J.T. Hubbard helped me write this song. We were talking one day, and he was telling me a story about his, I believe it was his aunt, that she said, Beaches in Cheyenne's the dumbest song in the world. There's not a beach in Cheyenne. And then I said, being a smart mouth that I am, I said, well, did you mouth off and say, I bet she's a George Strait fan, there's no oceans in Arizona either. And that's what gave us the idea. And then I'm a big, like I mentioned rodeo earlier, I was wanting to write a rodeo song. We turned it into a rodeo song, mixing Garth Brooks and George Strait in there.
Cane cutting cowboy living on the road. Another night in another town for a damned old rodeo. Liquor bottles and prescription pills help you live the life, but the winding road and broken home are killing you inside. You held on as long as you could in a fight you never win. Never dreamed it would come to this, but time just ain't your friend. It looks like you ended up like everybody told you. There ain't no beaches in Cheyenne, there ain't no ocean in Arizona. Chasing gold buckle dreams with the radio you'd sing. You thought by now the road would show us some fortune and fame, but the money it never showed up, and the girl she said goodbye. And those songs on the radio are just filling you with lies. You held on as long as you could in a fight you never win. Never dreamed it would come to this, but time just ain't your friend. It looks like you ended up like everybody told you. There ain't no beaches in Cheyenne, there ain't no ocean in Arizona. Tonight tried could be your claim to fame, but when they cracked that gate, cowboy, you didn't right away. You held on as long as you could in a fight you never win. Never dreamed it would come to this, but time sure ain't your friend. It Looks like you ended up like everybody told you. There ain't no beaches in Cheyenne. There ain't no ocean in Arizona. There ain't no beaches in Cheyenne. There ain't no ocean in Arizona.
If you just look up Bryce Dicus, it'll pull up, or if you just Google Ain't Slept Since Texas, that'll take you anywhere on Google. It'll bring up all my stuff on there. It's on any of the streaming platforms. I've got I believe 3 albums on there, as well as 3 new singles that will be on the new album. On Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, anywhere you can find your music streaming. And I've also got Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well.